Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is another tutorial special on units and unit compositions as I understand and see them and I like to build them. Let's take a quick look into the division builder here. Obviously, you guys all know that we got all these things here. With Black Ice 8, the big change, and I know there's, I guess they have Motorized. I've yet to play 8.4, yet to even install it. Downloaded it to update my mod, but not to play it yet. They've added Motorized engineers, but the three that we have here available don't yet have Mechanized units that for Black Ice 8 is what is a real game changer, and I just heard that on the news, but here it is literally a game changer in that it changes the game considerably. You no longer, and this is now medium artillery, and even though it still has the old symbol for motorized artillery here, I don't know if they're going to change or update their counters. And then heavy artillery, and this is just artillery, which is sort of light artillery now. You don't have a motorized versions for these, so they've gone in and adjusted. Well, I guess you do have the motorized. You have the self-propelled units now. So when you want to build a unit, you need to look at its functional purpose and what you're going to be doing with it. I still believe, haven't gone in what I've been playing so far, it's been working just fine, is you have a basic infantry division for Germany, and since I'm playing as Germany, we're going to be looking at that. This one has its unique headquarters here. It's up on top. I don't think stacking order here has any effect on anything, as which unit here takes more damage or less damage or any element like that. It's put on top obviously here so we have the pretty picture. I know for some people it's confusing because they don't, and I don't know, I've gotten to recognize this symbol, the upside down Y with either dashes or dots to be generally like a panzer division. I know most of the SS divisions symbols just instantaneously just because of my various research. So mostly the unique counters defaults, if I don't know them, I presume they're infantry. But for you, don't be intimidated if you're not used to these things. You can go in and change the settings for when it does this, because notice it changed over to just the default X for infantry. You can do that so it's default that even all the way zoomed in, and you would just see the DHQ symbol here. That can be done in settings somewhere, but that isn't the purpose, so I'm not going to dig into that right now. So but that's what that division on top is. The rest here is a basic infantry division. The only thing that this is currently lacking is anti-aircraft. You have a max of 8 brigades currently in Black Ice. This one has 7. You have to, and screen, if I'm sounding like I'm talking to a complete knob, well, I figure we do have a few of those playing Black Ice, at least a complete knob to Black Ice. They may be quite expert at playing other versions of Hearts of Iron, but they're getting in here with all this stuff. As you go back to the good old firepower, which you have to research, I believe it's at least the first 3 of salt concentration to be able to then research superior firepower, which allows you to add the 8th brigade. Otherwise it's 7 brigades. And this division, I believe, is one of mine that I built up and then just attached to the HQ at the time that I wasn't sure that when it was going to be ready that we were going to be able to do 8. So I set it up for a 7 brigade division. This is one of the keys here, is the combined arms bonus. You see it's 37.5%. That is from getting a mix of types of units here, and you really want a recon, because you can look here and see terrain, and right now we're moving at 114% of default, and that is because or is being set primarily by the horse-drawn transport. Here it's the wagon wheel symbol with the yellow that's determining that. But reconnaissance does have an effect on some of the movements as well, in some of the terrains. So you want to have a reconnaissance element in all your divisions. I think most all of your divisions, they can be a little expensive, but most all your divisions, you'll want an engineering unit, because notice what river or strait passing. We have 94% of movement, so we are down currently at basically 100%. The 100% is sort of without the bonuses that do we have one? Well, no, we have one here somewhere. Okay, see this, and I'll get into this a bit more. When you do a light vehicle, I guess current terrain default, you can see that it's adjusted different, even though we're still using regular artillery and regular anti-tank guns there. So here, when you're crossing the river, you get a penalty down for crossing rivers, and what keeps it from getting worse and worse is your pioneers, your engineers. So you'll want that in most of your divisions. I will still, and I don't know if I don't have any over here. Just a headquarters. I will still build some cheap infantry divisions. This isn't one, without some of the support units, just as sort of filler divisions, as extra divisions. I would not want to use the whole front of them in any serious action. So you will want most always pioneers for to really up the combined arms bonus. You will want some artillery of some sort. It can be rocket artillery, can be regular artillery, either way. I understand now that they're making the regular artillery to have the various types to do less damage, but add more to the combined arms bonuses in divisions. And they're making the rocket artillery do more, at least soft damage, not so much hard damage, but soft damage against infantry units, but not adding as much to the combined arms ability. So that if you want to, and it's somewhat designed to, if you want to have both a regular artillery brigade and a rocket artillery brigade in a division, you can do so without feeling that you're going, you know, having one infantry brigade and just stacking everything with artillery and going way ahistorical and gamey. It's meant to be an additive element to a standard infantry division, and not a duplicative element, just simply the same thing via a different name. It's meant to have a different effect. Now, you will want, in most all cases, you will want anti-tank weapons here. Armor, piercing, and armor. Obviously this has no armor. None of these should have any armor because these are all infantry units. But you will want, but you will want piercing. If your piercing value, this 26.5 here, is equal to or less than, this is my understanding, I know for sure less than, an opposing unit's armor value, you will only do half the amount of hard attack on the enemy than you would otherwise do. So you always want to have slightly more piercing. Piercing itself does not do any extra damage in that sense. And if you're double the piercing than them, does no more damage than if you're just 0.1% more piercing in there. It is not a any more. The more you have it, it's just equal to or less than or greater than is the only sort of judgment it makes. But you will want some. Now, you will find infantry has, like here, very little hard attack, bunch of soft attack. The hard attack represents in this era would be something like a they had a 7.92 anti-tank rifle, but 7.92 millimeters, which was the same caliber as the standard Mauser rifle, but they had almost like not quite a Coke bottle, but a huge old cartridge behind it that's like 10 times the powder capacity that the standard rifle cartridge had, to move that bullet down the and it was a probably not tungsten, but probably like a solid steel bullet, or at least steel cord bullet with just a copper jacket on it, for an anti-tank rifle. So these are pretty pathetic anti-tank weapon units, and but they do have a piercing of 7. So if you're running into crappy Polish armor or just some armored cars that the enemy has attached to their unit, you might achieve more piercing than they have with your simple anti-tank rifles. Later on, there will be some texts here. Let's see, are they in here? I think they would show up here. Yeah, rocket-propelled anti-tank weapons, yes or no. Those represent Panzerschrecks and Panzerfests for the German units, bazookas for the Americans, the terrible Piat for the British. Nobody else really had them in the war. Russia didn't, so presumably they can research that here in this game. That will add probably some more piercing, but never anything like an anti-tank weapon. But will add a considerable hard attack. And so all the hard attack from all these units is combined within it. So I don't even know quite right offhand, but a little bit of hard attack here from the engineers, representing, you know, TNT charges or whatever they might be representing at this time. They will all contribute to it, but it's, again, these various piercing attacks don't stack up. It's just, you need just one unit in your division with a yes or no, greater than or less than piercing attack than the enemy's armor. So you will want that. Now, let's see, an HQ will probably have one. Not that one. Nor that one. There we go. I like adding to my headquarters and a bunch of other divisions the heavy flak unit, which had been the motorized, but now it's heavy. This one has 26 piercing, not as good as the anti-tank unit, and hard attack is not very much. It will get better and be more of in both of these elements once you research dual purposes, which you will see that I will be doing shortly here. I've sort of gone back to a slightly earlier save here than what I'm currently playing. But And you can see here various improvements it does. Piercing attack to it. You can look at the SS Flak Panzer. Well, just like the Panzer Jaeger, SS Panzer Jaeger. Defensive, air defense, hard attack +1, air attack, control. Schwer, okay, Schwer, oh, it's jumping all over. Schwer Panzer right below the thing, pointer. Hard attack +1, air attack, defensive, piercing attack .2. Oh no, that's general supply. I'm going to read all this under here. Well, that will increase as you continue to up the research, and I believe this will also increase, as you can see here under there, increase the piercing numbers and the heart attack number, the improved ammo types as well, and some of these other piercing heavy AA guns will do that. But these, and here it's even Schwer Flak Abteilung 1 here, is theoretically, though I have very strong suspicions that these names have any relation to what the effects are, is just as a 20mm, which obviously is not Schwer anything in the world. But they had Flak 18s in the Spanish Civil War, so little disagreement between me and the Black Ice design people. They're more dynamic in their approach than I would choose to be. So you can replace, and I do at times, sometimes with these early divisions, skip the anti-tank and put in a regular flak unit that will gain some piercing. It will be a weaker division against armor because it won't have as much heart attack, but it will still have some, and it can depending on the situation and whether you're fighting against T-34s or KV-85s or whatever, and depending on what you've researched, whether it will win the armor/piercing war. But what it will also do is add, because I also often think of them in somewhat these terms. Now this is a huge stack here, but when you're doing both attacks as well as being like attacked by the enemy, particularly like air power, if you have some anti-aircraft in the division or divisional stack here, that will help if compared to if everything is just regular anti-tank. But I'm rarely, in my opinion, ever hit with so much air either on the eastern or western front that I feel that every division's got to have anti-aircraft. So part of it just comes down to manpower and ICs for production. Do you want to build 2 more divisions, or do you want to give 20 divisions an anti-aircraft gun? That will help, will do that. It's sort of, both have their good values to them. Obviously, a few more divisions means you can cover more area. Better divisions, because the anti-tank units will be just small manpower. If you're having manpower shortages, it would be better to up your fewer divisions, higher quality. So that gives the basics that you want to have a combined arms situation. Now, one of the divisions I like to build, and been chatting on the message boards below the units about converting all the German army to a motorized army. I'm quite leery of that, quite honestly. Just maybe it's my historical prejudice and the knowledge of the extremely limited fuel situation, but it's also, I've been so often in places out here advancing into the enemy, capturing a province, and when you capture the province you also get whatever supplies that are there at the moment you capture it, and it doesn't necessarily mean there's fuel there, so you can run out of fuel but still have enough supplies. And so if you have some regular infantry divisions, they can keep moving, and if there is some fuel still being trapped through, they can be used exclusively by your motorized units. So I'm entirely undecided. I'm not in any way saying they're wrong to try to motorize everything. Now, part of the other thing is cost. Now, all that being said, is you can look at this unit is 6.83 currently. They adjust via text. As those of you who've been playing, if you notice here, build time plus 12. Do some of these. Well, IC cost build plus 1.5 for the top unit here. Now, just on text a little bit, you will want to get these because these will start knocking down your build costs, which will be very helpful. So you want to research the required. Right now we're researching steel production. As soon as we get that, we will start increasing our production capabilities there by via text. But so this is a fluid thing right here. So, but currently 6.83, 159 days. That's a semi-motorized infantry unit. Motorized infantry unit, 12.32, basically doubled the amount of ICs, and 165 days. The 10, 15 days, that doesn't bother me. If it was 80, 90 days, that would be a concern. But we look and see that this is 6.5 as a base movement, and this is a 5.9. So we're talking only 0.6 of a movement speed different as a base level for this. So let's quickly come down here, and I normally, with the semi-motorized units, I'll throw on a motorcycle recon. We're going to do this otherwise cheaply with artillery, anti-tank, engineers, divisional headquarters. So of course you will be getting, if you're playing Alexei's mod with units, you'll get more HQs. You'll get a bunch of the HQs from Black Ice and other ones, so you'll want to use their divisional HQs as well, so you want to build some without this. And we'll do a light vehicle transport. And so here we go, 7 brigades, so this you can build at start. It's 11 ICs. It's 5.9 movement. Now that is a little deceptive in that to actually get, you have to do terrain tweaks, because all terrain even planes have a negative effect, and these units have, the transport units have a bonus to it, so that it's to differentiate between the various anti-tank units here. Now I think I have some on there, but it's 11.31 to build it for 59 days. Let's remove that and add motorized infantry. Now we're talking 16.63, so basically 5 more ICs to build this. So you can build 3 of the semi-motorized divisions basically for the cost of 2 of these motorized divisions. And you can look over here and see that the motorized division is a better division. It's going to have, and it just can come down to that, and it makes perfect sense to me. If you have not just a movement across from province to province to province, but if you have all of your infantry battalions all have trucks, and of course they're out attacking on foot, but you have your reserve battalions that either you have an enemy attacking in an unexpected place, and with more motor transportation, you can rapidly get reinforcements to that spot quickly and deal with that. Or if you notice an enemy breakthrough potential, a weak spot, you can bring your reserves up in a more rapid format with your motorized transport and get them there and push through it. Also, it will represent the ability of more trucks going back to whether it's the divisional HQ dump or potentially what would be like the core HQ dump, and picking up more ammunition. So if you've just got wagons doing it, they're going to move at the speed of the horses to resupply your troops with ammunition, presumably your divisional. This is one of the main reasons I love the concept of divisional leaders, is that skill level that you're seeing there can represent simply better organizations, not just at that guy, but you look at standard better organizations in getting food, daily deliveries of food and other sort of supplies to your troops that, say, combination of training, technology, and everything else, Hungary doesn't do as well as Germany does for the same. And notice we're on basically the same division. Yeah, there's also some air units in that province, and it does have a medium artillery, but otherwise it's basically the same division that we were just looking at. If its divisional commander, which we don't know right offhand, is just, say, a 1 skilled level, he and his staff is not as well prepared to deliver daily organized things. Now let's see if we can find in here this stack. Okay. So we have a actual movement with current train and current situation of a 6.14 for one of my semi-motorized units. It's using the light vehicle transports and that. Now let's get a standard infantry division. There we go. Basically the same division except for the change of regular regiment to semi-motorized regiment and transport over to horse instead of light truck, and we're at 4.65. So it's a significant difference. It's not, some one movement rate of a garrison unit or something. Now what I'm looking for is a fully mechanized infantry division. I don't build too many of those. Let's see this. Okay, pull you out of combat here. Okay, this is one that I built as a early version of a so it won't be entirely accurate. Let's see. Swap that around. And let's also, now I built this with like I was saying, as an early version of a Panzer Grenadier division, although we don't have armored infantry at the moment. But we'll swap out the anti-tank guns. So now we are in a motorized division here, but still with light vehicle transport, because what I'm trying to do is quickly, and we can look at here, and terrain is sort of the biggest downfall here. Let's see if we have still even worse terrain. This isn't very fair. I wish it. Well, we'll let that pull up there. I want to get it to a better place to test that. But so this is basically the same division. It does have a heavy flak unit, but I don't think that's going to affect its movement rate. I'll speed this up. I don't care about the war. The war is immaterial to me. I went back to our army save. As a comparison here. No, it's not like in these terrains. Oh, we're still in forest. Let's... so I can move them. Get out of this heavier forest here. Okay, now. So you see now here we're at, 6.4 with the same light vehicle transport. Now if we had kept the trucks, it would go faster, and I maybe should have also done that version too. So this comes into your field. So in my strong opinion, you don't want to do this. You'll either want to use your motorized infantry with a armor unit, which in my mind also includes the assault gun type units, with that making it a stronger, effective, heavy punch unit. Generally speaking, you'll want to move do truck transport instead of light vehicle. Now, light vehicle transport is, if I'm understanding everything correctly, though I haven't tried it, is air transportable. So you can put it on board airplanes. And so you can create motorized airborne divisions expensively, and they, I do understand, they take a lot of transport weight, which will represent a lot of gliders or a lot of heavy transports loading on light jeeps and very light trucks. So I think this is going to be it for our look at I guess infantry divisions. Post below questions. I'll be happy to answer them, to research. Mostly you don't want to build cavalry divisions. They're more for, well, let me quickly go into one other type of, I'm just seeing it here, it's somewhat of a specialized, and I know oh my god uses a lot of these. I like these too. Light infantry, they're good in the rugged terrain. I normally want to build, and we can look at some more of the specialized stuff. I normally want to, because I'm going to be mostly putting them to rugged terrain, I'm going to use pack artillery with them. I've been wanting to put horses with them mostly because I'm figuring I'm putting them into rough terrain that's going to have supply problems. Sometimes sending them to Africa or India or other exotic locales, so that you may have supply fuel trouble, and I don't want to have that come down. I generally will put cavalry recon. Now, cavalry recon, I think, is a little bit of a misnomer. They did use that in the German army at this time. They did use that in other armies at this time. But they also had a lot of foot reconnaissance units out there that were just, because they weren't necessarily meant to run out very far ahead of the division. They were just units that were organized for reconnaissance and trained for it, that would spot, and they'd be small. They go out in like platoon strength units, and hoping that the really good ambush wouldn't the enemy wouldn't trigger on them because they wouldn't want to waste the good ambush on just a platoon of troops. They want to get a whole battalion or whatever into them. But if you're going to get them shot up, you're just getting a few of your soldiers shot up and not a whole company or battalion getting mangled, so it's less risk. So I think of a little misnomer. Obviously, this is also a misnomer in my opinion, motorcycle reconnaissance. Germany did have motorcycle reconnaissance. The Soviet Union did have motorcycle reconnaissance. Even the United States had motorcycle reconnaissance on a very, very limited scale. Soviets also very limited scale. I think most of their motorcycles were liaison guys running around with messages. But what they did have, America and others, including Germany, was various Jeep and other light unarmored vehicle reconnaissance that I wish there was a sort of an upgrade to those that was a slightly better fighting, though not armored like armored car reconnaissance. And as even pre-war, German infantry division, some of them had armored car reconnaissance as well. So that's quite useful, but we're looking at non-fuel use. So this, I'll get rid of the motorcycle here, is what I will often do for a light infantry division. The one and major drawback this has is its extremely low piercing of just 6. If you're going to be fighting on the Eastern Front with this unit, it isn't going to do very well. You'll see how I will have some of these on the Eastern Front. They are very vulnerable. I will also build them this way and add in the anti-tank. Why, you may ask, I might not want to do that is, well, you can see here, like mountain attacks, negative 33%. Get rid of this. Mountain attacks, negative, what's that, 28%. Because the pack artillery, the light infantry are better suited for it, for some of the rugged terrains. These aren't specifically designed as rugged terrain anti-tank units, which you very well could have, but these aren't. So they sort of disrupt some of your rugged terrain and your rugged terrain movements. Is why I will not always put it in there, but if I am planning on, because of some of the various swamps on the Eastern Front and forests and other terrains, I will build some this way with the anti-tank units in there as well for you look at like marsh attacks and such. Okay, I guess that will now end our infantry. I will be making more of these. Like I said, thank you for liking in many of my other videos. Thank you for liking the videos, and please post questions, comments, thoughts, and you can post your favorite infantry type builds too and why you like them. I'm very willing to learn, and I'm very willing to have other people get other opinions. Mine is not necessarily even the best, and obviously not the only way to do things. It's just how I've been doing them and how I've learned to do them and from my experience. Have a good day.